So for this experiment, we needed to find two identical makes and models. I wanted them to be the same year, the same color, the same interior color, and the same exact body style. So nobody can tell me that one car got too hot because the car was a different color than the other one or whatever. And that's what we found. So Justin from Horsepower Obsessed actually pulled through for us. This one's his. You've probably seen it on our channel and his. This is fully wrapped in XPEL. It's already tinted, of course, but all we tinted was the front windows. So we're gonna be stripping the tint off of those fronts, and we're going to retint it with XR Plus. That is the top of the line IR film from XPEL. We're also going to tint the entire windshield with a clear heat rejecting film. It's a 70% film. However, it blocks 92% of infrared radiation, which is basically the heat that you feel. We're going to be putting 20% on the doors and 70% on the rear doors and the rear glass. So it's not really going to change the appearance of the back section of the car. Everything will still sort of match, but there is going to be basically an invisible heat rejecting and UV rejecting layer on the back of the truck. On this truck, which is Justin's friend, we're going to be removing the tint that we did on the front doors just for the purpose of this video, leaving it with no tint whatsoever other than the factory dyed glass in the back, and then we'll retint that for him, of course, when we're done. After we get the tint installed, we're going to do a couple of different things. We're going to take temperature measurements with a laser thermometer at various points inside the car. We're also going to do the exact same thing with this truck as they sit side by side in the parking lot. Then we're going to see how quickly the cars heat up. So we'll take more temperature readings as the cars sit out in the sun together on both vehicles. But the part I'm excited to see is what happens when you're driving the cars. So after the tint is installed, what's going to happen is this vehicle that's going to have XR Plus on it, these windows are going to get really hot because they're dark and they absorb heat, and that's sort of how the tint works. And most people will say, well, hey, if it's absorbing heat, isn't that going to make it hotter in the car? And that is true to a point, as in if you touch the glass on the inside, the glass is going to feel hot. But when you're driving down the road, the wind is going to be picking that heat up off of this. So it basically acts as a big heat sink, and it doesn't allow the heat to get in through the glass to the people inside. Now that doesn't mean, because it blocks 92% of infrared, that you're never going to feel any heat in the car, or that the car is not going to get hot as it sits out in the sun. And that's one of the things I want to prove to you. I think a lot of the people are selling tint that blocks heat as you can sit the car out in the parking lot and you come back 3 hours later and the car is going to be cool. That's not true. It's not a refrigerator. It's not going to work to actively cool the car. It may slow the heating process down, which we're about to find out together, and it should make it a lot faster to get cooler in the car once you get moving. So let's take these things inside, get them tinted, and show you how this is going to work. All right, so we are going to test the temperature inside the garage. We've got a laser thermometer here, and this is just to get a baseline. Of course, they should be exactly the same, both trucks. 69 degrees on the seat, 69 degrees on the dashboard. We're gonna test the back seat as well, because that one has some factory tinted glass, which should not do much or anything really for heat, and 69 degrees in the back. I assume the other one's gonna be the same, but let's check it out anyhow. 70 degrees, 70 degrees, and 70 degrees. So within 1 degree of each other, 69.5. We'll call that the same. We're going to pull them both out front. Right now it's the morning, so the sun is right up in that direction, aimed right at the front of the building. And we're going to take some temperature measurements every 10 minutes to see which one is heating up faster. So this is absolutely perfect testing conditions today. We've got the sun right in front of me, not a single cloud in the sky. It's 77 degrees already and it's not even 9:30. It's gonna be almost 90 today. So we're gonna let these things sit here for a little while. We're gonna take them out after lunch to see which one cools down faster. But my prediction is that this one, which is Justin's that has the tint on it, is going to heat up a lot slower than that one. Ultimately though, I think they're gonna end up at the same temperature. By the time we leave for lunch, I think they're both gonna sort of have plateaued at the same temperature. And the reason for that is because it's not just the glass that's allowing heat into the truck. We've got paint, and in this case, black paint, absorbing heat. That's coming through the headliner, through the pillars, you name it. There's heat getting into this thing besides just through the glass. So let's see what happens. Front seat, 80.5, no, 81.5. Dash, 96. Back seat, 79.5. All right. Front seat, 81, 80.5. Dashboard, 95. 78, 70, 78 average, 77 and a half. So this is the 50-minute check. It's been almost an hour. I'm doing the seat back that's sitting in the sun. It's 125, 120, actually 127. Get the dashboard, try to get you guys to see it. 131 right on top of the gauge cluster, and 89 on the cushion of the back seat. Let's check the tinted one. Seat back, 108.5. In the dash, 121.5. In the back seat, 87. So interesting results. Basically what I predicted, which is cool, that this one is definitely heating up slower than that one. I'm curious to see now if this one will ever reach the same ambient temperature that that one is. So it's been 70 minutes. Sun has been shining. The back of the seat is 132. Dashboard is 148. Holy cow.
That is hot.
Yeah. And the seat cushion in the back, 98.5. That one kind of surprises me because there's really no sun hitting it, but it keeps getting a lot hotter. All right, back of this seat. In the sun, 119, 117.5. Sort of where it's plateauing at there, 118. And the dash, 138. So a full 10 degrees cooler on the dash and significantly more than that, I believe, on the seat. And 95 on the rear seat. They're still not caught up to each other. We're gonna do one other type of test. This is a BTU meter. So if you're not familiar with what that is, that's a British thermal unit. 1 BTU is the amount of energy that it takes to raise a pound of water by 1 degree Fahrenheit. So let me check this out, see how much energy is coming through this windshield. So we'll hold it roughly, we'll set it right here. We've got 48 BTUs coming through the glass right now. We're at about a 45 degree angle, 49. And with XR Plus, 12. So it's easy to see, I guess, why this one is heating up so much slower than that one when you can see the BTUs. All right, so we're gonna take the trucks out right now. We're gonna drive them at the same speed on the same roads. We're gonna hit the max AC button at the same time. And then we're gonna take temperature readings from a thermometer that we have in the cup holder. So we're gonna try to get the ambient air temperature. Dean is gonna be in one truck. I'm gonna be in the other truck. We've got radios to communicate. John's gonna record all of that data for you.
Ready to rip.
All right, let's go. So this is the one with tint, and like I said earlier, the ambient temperature is still gonna get hot in the truck. It's not like you can sit this thing in a parking lot and never get warm, and that is definitely true here. Temperature check.
Thermometer is still maxed out.
Yeah, so outside it is 91 degrees. Hey Dean, temperature check.
118.
10-4. I would say we're at the same. It's actually hard to tell if it's 118 or if it's still maxed out, so I'm not really sure on that. No, it seems to be dropping, I think. I think it's working. So one thing about the tint for sure that is hard to quantify, but you can't feel the sun on the other side coming in like you can on a vehicle that has no tint. So I'm sure right now if he'd put his hand on the dashboard, you can just feel the sun beating in. And that's really not the case with this right now at all. Temperature check.
112.
Dean's at 112. We're at about 116 according to this thing. Temp check, Dean.
100 degrees.
I am also at 100 degrees.
It's definitely blowing really cold air, but
Where's
everything
Dean?
around me is just still radiating heat, especially the glass. If I put my hand near the window, it's still really hot.
Interesting. If I put my hand near the window, I can't even feel anything. It's like I'm sitting in the shade. So an interesting result, even though the air temperature, according to this, isn't fluctuating much between our truck and his truck. First of all, I think this isn't keeping up because this is reading 90 degrees right now, and there's no way it is 90 degrees inside this truck. I'm very comfortable. Second of all, he's still not comfortable. We're a few minutes into the drive, and he said it's still really hot. You can still feel the sun pouring in the glass. I can't feel the sun really at all, and I'm very comfortable, and so is John. So I think my thermometer is failing me. We're still at 86 degrees. It's not 86 in here, there's no question. It's actually starting to get to the point where it's almost getting cold in here. So it feels like as cold as my house or the shop would be, probably 68 or 70. I don't think this thing's keeping up with what's actually happening. It's dropping, just really slow. You have the AC still on in yours, right? Perfect. Right on top of the dash. 119. Seat back, even though I was sitting on it, 93. And let's get the shift knob. 90.5. Dean's 130.5 in the exact same spot. 93.5 on the seat, which I think is basically the same, which is no surprise there. Shift knob. 98, 99, 100, fluctuating right around 100. So as a tint shop, it's obviously in our best interest to sell you guys ceramic tint, not only because it makes us more money, but because we want to improve your life. That's sort of why we exist here. We want to improve the looks of your car and also make it more comfortable to drive. We never had a test up till now with real world results that would show you exactly how much of a difference it makes, and we got those results. So as expected, Justin's truck, which has XR Plus all the way around, including the windshield, heated up a lot slower than the other truck did. When we did our time trial tests, and John will put that up on the screen to show you, it took a lot longer for this one to reach temperatures that one did. Overall, after they sat for hours and we went and had lunch, this surprised me. The ambient temperature of this one was actually still lower than that. We always tell people when we sell them ceramic tint or an IR tint that it is not going to affect the ambient temperature. If you leave the car out in the parking lot for hours and come back, it'll be just as hot as before. Apparently that's not actually true. It will be slightly cooler by about 10 degrees or even I think 20 degrees on the seat back, which is really significant. As far as driving is concerned, unfortunately our thermometers that we had, and we tried a couple different ones, believe it or not, didn't work as well as we'd hoped. So they didn't react fast enough. We had to sort of base that on comfort levels. So we were radioing over to Dean and asking him how comfortable he was. Me and John were a lot more comfortable very quickly. It took a minute or two before we really felt like we were pretty much out of the sun. Even up until we got back, and that was probably a 7 or 8 minute drive, Dean said he still felt hot. So we had the laser thermometer, we tested some spots there, and you can see there too that the dashboard stayed a lot cooler in this one versus that truck, and same with the shift knob. So I think that is conclusive evidence that yes, ceramic tint or an infrared and IR tint, which is what we have on here, does in fact work. It does what we say it's going to do. It helps the AC run more effectively. It definitely improves comfort, and it does affect the overall temperature in the car. Thank you guys very much for watching. I know this might be a long video, but we hope that we gave you guys some valuable information towards your next window tint purchase. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel and you like seeing this kind of experimental data with the products that we sell, please make sure you subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and let us know what you think in the comments.